Hey everyone. Well, with the 30th anniversary currently in progress, things don't officially kick off until oh the about a month from now. Though Ishihara's presentation in New York does make me a bit excited, and I also will admit that there is opportunity in the a sector on monster games, and more options than ever, which means now I can finally address one in particular since it came with my PS Plus account, and I'm glad for that because I'm not sure I would have tried it otherwise. So, here is an interesting video. Oh, and while this game may not be a as much of a letdown as I heard other people will try to claim it as it's also not exactly the online creature collecting adventure you've been waiting for. So here are my thoughts now that a long-time Pokemon player has finally tried Temtem. Okay, so I will. This I just want you to know this is basically where I'm at right now. I definitely intend to play more, or I don't know about spending any time after I clear the main quest or any potential side quests I have to do for that. To mean, but just to give you the experience I am at right now, there's decent character customization, and I expect even up to and including like the bios people were memeing. Though I still can't handshake the whole free-to-play mobile game aesthetic about the visuals, like how that's basically just been dogging me ever since I first saw it revealed. I named my avatar Brit Mitten for the two late creatives on Thomas. Got a wake up call from um, our mother Aina. As if, and the way we were just casually lying there in bed, like that SpongeBob bed I sleep my shoes on, hun. And we get our first partner from Professor Konstantinos. That's a mouthful. A lot of the names, and a lot of, like the way that the world is designed, up to and including the island archipelago setting, and definitely can tell us made by people in South America. Uh, and I'm doing my best to be fair as much as I can. And I do like some of the monster designs, admittedly, especially with the one that came a fan guest, but also up before Generation 5 came out. And admittedly, one of the main shakeups is that instead of capsules, you summon your monsters from cards, which really makes you want to play the Bait and Kaitos games. And it took me at least an hour to reach the first town, apart from my hometown. The mechanics somehow both simpler and more complex than similar titles I played. And given how much information throwing at you, at some point I just checked out and only paid heed to what I absolutely needed to progress. As to know, I know the handholds are easy targets in a lot of games these days, but jumping to the other extreme is not ideal either. It feels like getting your license, then taking part in 24 hours in Le Mans, like that. Exactly. And but it's basically a long way of saying to me that the onboarding is not especially great right off, to be blunt. It simultaneously treats you like this is your first monster tamer, also requiring you to already know how these kind of role playing games work. It's not like like other ones. Like I know people dog Pokemon for this a lot, especially in more recent titles, but on the whole, I would say those do a solid job of not only making it so players of all ages and experience levels can join in, but also having niceties. He's he's on the surface, so below the surface, so for the metagame where, trust me, as someone who just made rank G in this season, and I'll be trying for a higher rank in the next, it can be absolute chaos for or what happens with that. That's been more often than not. And you have dojos and gyms, and I'm not going to be using their names for the medics either. I'm just going to call them medics since it has the same connotations. Again, the Island Archipelago setting is sound, especially with Alola before, and persistent talk of a potential setting Generation 10 since this game came out. So, while it is possible to play this game on I'm still currently on all systems, it's available on as well as PC. A all the content has been released for the game. Is all that will be released. I mean, my understanding is that developing with other projects. All this information I have when is also coming from NS's as post-mortem on the game for his Death of Game series, which even though not people don't agree with everything he says, as he is on the whole very well informed creator who I've been taking up watching for a bit now. And but even though I maintain this is not a bad game, I also get why I personally chose to gloss it over when it came out. So I was launching in between both TMNT Carbon Collection and Splatoon 3, let alone Generation 9, all of which I logged extensive time into. And I am willing to play more, I will say least, but it will not replace any game I already have in the same genre, let alone the many Pokemon games I have since maybe if they try to pitch their stuff as an alternative and companion rather than a replacement, hence the discourse would not have gone the way it did. And because of how utterly saturated the MMO sphere has become, let alone like the big titans of that space of like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, especially Post Realm Reborn, and Star Wars: The Old Republic. Looking forward to Fate of the Republic, especially. I mean, at some point, I may have wanted an official Pokemon MMO, but I don't think I do anymore. This stage, not every single game needs to be always online. That's what all these people don't seem to understand. Like, we're not asking for things to always be online. We're asking to have an offline option for when the online components go dark, which not only one the collection do have, thankfully. So there's that. But that's how it goes sometimes. So you definitely don't have to play this game if you don't want to. I personally deliberately chose to not even mention it whenever I could be bothered, let alone actively address it, which ends up being everybody's effect a lot more so than and continually making clickbait videos that were dumped out in and within a day or two of the work coming out. So especially since I'm not completely getting rid of these smaller videos as I work on writing the bigger ones. It's just they're getting less frequent. I mean, with that in mind, it was either going to be, hey, some new, be this, or some of the new Star Trek like stuff that's been dropping lately. And it's not my first rodeo in the last discourse either. So, for the sake of argument, I decided to get it's a decent, though not spectacular game out of the way first. Anyway, that'll be all for now. Oh, and I will see you all again very soon, so take care. Hmm.